This is the number one way to protect your kids online. It has nothing to do with knowing more than your kids, knowing exactly about the game that they're playing. It has nothing to do with anything dealing with tech. Okay, it has everything to do with you. Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Protect Kids Online live stream. I'm CyberFareedah. I have a background in cybersecurity awareness, threat intelligence, online gaming, and other nerdy stuff. I've taken my gaming experiences and professional background to help parents like you protect their children online. I'm known as an award-winning Forbes 30 Under 30 internet safety expert, and I've been in some places on the internet and beyond that you may recognize. So, without further ado, let's talk. 3, 2, 1.
So, as someone who spent years gaming, in fact, I'm still a gamer till this day. Every weekend, or if I have a chance, I will be gaming online. And I often get questions from parents about how do I protect my kids in online games? And usually the fear comes with I don't know the game, I'm not familiar with it, or you are familiar with it and you've heard some terrible stories, like say it's Roblox, and you've heard some headlines of kids connecting with strangers and talking to them and being groomed on Roblox, leaving Roblox or Minecraft, and then talking to them on other apps and games and all of that type of stuff. And so I'm here to tell you that the number one way to protect your kids online is to connect with their love of gaming. And I know that it sounds like, what are you talking about? What does that even mean? What about parental controls? What about X, Y, and Z? And while those things are very important, especially when it comes to games that are not just meant for kids, but also meant for teens and meant for adults, believe it or not, if you don't already know, Roblox is not just for children. There are experiences that are 17 plus. There are experiences for a little bit more older and more mature crowd. So just because Roblox, of course, is a set of games and it's marketed or mostly kids are on it, I don't really know the exact statistics, but I know that there's a lot of kids on it and it's marketed to kids. And our mindset about Roblox is for kids. And so what do I need to do in order to protect my kid on Roblox? I didn't know that there was parental controls where I can turn off the chat, for instance. Or I didn't know that if I set up my child's profile, they can be the essentially, if you're setting up your child's profile and you put your birth date or your age or your name or whatever, that's what shows up on their profile. So it's no longer going to give them experiences for a 10-year-old or a 13-year-old. It's going to give them experiences for a 32-year-old, for a 45-year-old. So yes, those things are really important to be mindful of when you're setting up games for your kids, when you're trying to figure out how do I protect my child on this particular game. But I'm telling you right now, the best way to protect them, and we talked about this in my free social media safety challenge, which clearly with the name, it's not just about social media safety. We're not the name, but me referencing it, it's not just about social media safety. It's also about how to protect your kids online at large, and especially no matter if they're an online game or social media or whatever. But one of the first things we talked about actually was day one of the challenge. The challenge was 5 days. Day one of the challenge, we talked about creating a safe space for your child to speak to you and for you to connect with your child. Day two was about accountability, and day three was about having fun. And so I'm going to talk about, in particular, day 1 and 3. So safe spaces and having fun with your kids. Those are the ways to protect your kids in online games. So what do I mean by safe spaces or connecting with your kids or whatever that is? The first thing I mean by safe spaces is providing a space for your kid. They can talk about their gaming experiences or what they're doing in a comfortable way without it turning into a lecture or without it turning into a lesson. And even though it's like that moment you feel like, oh, I need to tell them something, and it's very important to, and there's definitely moments to, you want to provide some moments, some spaces where there is no lecture, there is no lesson. You're just connecting with their love of gaming. So for instance, if they're so excited to tell you about what happened on Roblox, or their favorite streamer or someone is on Roblox, or they saw this Minecraft video on YouTube, connecting with those stories that they're telling, leaning in and listening to them. It doesn't matter if you're feeling like this conversation is gibberish. I don't understand anything that you're saying. I don't understand. It's fine. You can say, hey, I don't get that. Can you explain that? Can you explain what Roblox is? Can you explain about this event that you are talking about with your kids? It is okay to lean in that conversation, even if you don't know anything. That is connection, asking questions, getting curious, understanding what's happening, what's going on in their world. Without it, with it just being a sense of connection, and you don't have to teach and you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I need them to know something. Just let it be in that particular moment. If for whatever reason they come to you and you're in the middle of something, you're in the middle of making dinner, you're in the middle of running out of the door, you got to do something, you're at work, and you can't talk to them in that moment, that's a moment to say, hey, I would love to talk to you about this, even if you don't, doesn't matter. Like, can you come to me after dinner? Or let's talk about this over dinner. Or let's talk about it before you go to bed. Or let's talk about it when you come home from school tomorrow, whatever it is. But you're telling them, hey, I can't talk right now, but I will love to re-engage with you in the future. That is an example of creating a safe space. Another version of a safe state space is that when you're mentioning gaming or when you're talking about gaming, it's normal. It's not always doom and gloom. It's not always watch out for this, don't do that, don't make sure you don't do this. If someone says this and you tell me, it's just you're there used to having normal conversations with you around gaming, or actually even positive conversations around gaming and their experiences in gaming, and it being a point of connection for you both. And they know that, hey, if I tell my mom, if I tell my dad, if I tell my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother, grandfather something, and something that went wrong in the game or something that went right in the game, they're not going to be upset with me. They're not going to be like interrogating me. They're not going to become a helicopter parent. They're not going to make me feel like I'm a bad person. It's just a normal conversation. They feel safe with you. So that is the number one way to protect your kids online. The reason being is, especially if they're playing online games, you don't want them to feel a sense of belonging and community with someone who doesn't actually care about them. So you're the one who actually cares about them, but they may be talking to someone that is not simply a person that does not mean well for them in an online game. And if they're used to their only sense of acceptance, their only sense of love, their only sense of belonging and community coming from strangers in an online game, they're less likely to open up to you and less likely to trust you, with good reason within their idea and the way that they see things. So it's so important that you're creating that safe space so that when they go talk to someone online, if they're a good person and they're able to connect, they're able to tell you about it, and it's the end of the story, and they know the red flags. If someone says this, then I know that's a red flag. It makes me feel uncomfortable. No one should be asking me this. Those type of things are really good, and it helps them develop healthy boundaries when they're online in the online spaces or playing online games. And that will protect them greater than you can ever imagine. Because if they're meeting someone that's trying to connect with them through belonging or community and saying, hey, like, I know parents are really freaking annoying and they never listen to you, they never make you feel safe, and if they agree with that and they feel like, yeah, I can't talk to my parents. Yeah, they always shut me down. Yeah, they hate that I play Minecraft. They hate that I play Fortnite. They hate that I play this game. And I'm hiding these things from them because they just don't understand. Or I think they're going to get mad, or they're going to be frustrated. Or they're going to take away my game. They're going to take away my devices. They're going to ground me. Those things, you don't want that to happen. It's fine if your child is upset with you about something, or they only can play 1 hour of Roblox and they want to play 3 hours. Those things are different than your child feeling like they can't talk to you, they can't communicate with you, they don't matter to you. Even if you say you love them, if they don't feel that they have a safe space to just be themselves and be accepted and loved, then it's more challenging for you to create an environment where they're protected in online games. This does not mean that your relationship has to be super close and you're hunky-dory, or what I say, like you're selling off to the sunset and you are eating ice cream, skipping every Sunday, or that type of stuff. It just means that they feel like, okay, home is a safe space and I don't have to leave home. I don't have to talk to somebody else in order for me to get a better sense of belonging. Not to say that they're not going to make friends offline or online. It's just that you are their safe space. So that is the number one way to protect your kids in online games. If we were to forget the parental controls and parental monitoring for a second, if we were to forget the security and safety and privacy settings that you need on games, that is the number one thing. That's the first step that you want to take to protect your kids online. And then after that, you can start thinking about, okay, what is this online game? What are the features? What are the settings that they give me to protect my child on this game? Did I set it up in the correct way? Is their username their full name, their government name, or is it a gamer tag, a gamer name, something they came up with that they thought was funny? So let's just say that they love bears and chocolate, or they love bears and water, or they call themselves Water Bear, or whatever it is. What that is, a gamer tag, is a gamer name, and you're not saying their actual name, you're saying a gamer name. So of course there are certain things that you can do. And if you want to learn more about, okay, how do I exactly have the safe space? How do I develop accountability? How do I communicate with them the importance of being safe online? Because you may know something, but they may not know something. So there are certain like internet safety games that you can introduce to your kids. FBI has a game, it's called Safe Surfing Online. There's another game by the NCMEC, the National Missing child center. What is it called? What's it? Net Smarts. So NETZ Smarts. They have a game as well. Google has a game, Be Internet Awesome, or Interland. That's the game, Interland. Like instead of internet, is Interland. So you can introduce those games to your kids and see if they find it useful. You can have conversations while they're playing that game. This is an internet safety game that teaches them about internet safety, security, privacy, digital literacy. There are, of course, I have my own challenge. Actually, let me share that. Let me share my challenge. Okay, so here's the 5-day challenge that I talked about and where we went through how to protect your kids on social media. Like I said, day 1 was safe spaces. We talked about illustrating trust and an open communication through non-judgmental conversations. So I show you exactly how to do this in the 5-day challenge. So if you're watching the replay of this and you want it, I will put it in the comments below, but I also will put it, I'll also put it in the, yeah, I'll pin it in the comments. If I forget, just let me know. Just say, hey, can you pin all of the things that you shared in the comments? Day 2, we talked about fostering digital accountability. Is just using social media safety settings together. You can do the same thing with games. You can cultivate digital positivity by doing shared digital interests. So playing the game with your kid, asking them to explain what the game is, just leaning into their love of gaming, finding ways to connect through that. I gave many different ways that you can do that. Also in day 4, we did mutual understanding, setting digital boundaries and screen time limits, how to set screen time limits with your kids instead of for your kids so that it sticks, so they understand, they get why not. It's a whole collaborative effort with both you and your kid. And then day 5 is like a Q&A session, a safe mom support group session. So even if you have kids that are online gaming and they're not on social media, this is for you. If you have kids on social media, this is absolutely definitely for you. And then I explain who I am and etc. If I'm always going to share this resource because it's so good. If you're looking for alternative games for your kids and you're trying to figure out whether or not a game is safe for your kids, you can put in comments this media how old your kid is. You can choose the platforms and the content level. Let's just say it's like PS4 and Windows. And you can say, let's say your child is like 16 years old, so they can handle a little bit of violence, but you don't want much language at all. You don't want you want very little romance and very little, actually no substances, right? And then it'll basically tell you suggestions. Well, I said 13, I really meant 16, but whatever. It'll give you some suggestions based off of the content limits. And then it'll give you suggestions where you can cultivate digital positivity and play games with your kids and make that something that's normal in your household. Even if you can't play games with your kids, just lean into the conversation when they start talking about their games. If you're looking at alternative games for your kids, you can look into taminggaming.com. Did I put this? Oh, I didn't actually put the gaming review. So let's say Common Sense Media game review. I'm going to put this in the chat. I don't want to forget. So I'm putting this in the chat. And then you have Taming Gaming, which is a family gaming database, and you can find games you can play with your kids as a family. You can do different games, like recommended games for your kids to play. Which one is better? PC, console, which type of console, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. So it basically goes into all the things that you need to know to make sure that your kids have a good and more safe time gaming online or gaming offline. If you have young kids, I highly recommend that you stick to offline games. You don't want an online component because online means that they most likely will have the ability to talk with other people, and you don't want that until they're old enough and more mature. And so those are ways you can protect your kids beyond just the safe spaces. If you are ever like confused about gaming, and by the way, I didn't want to make this conversation too long. I'm notorious on my on my channel of like going really in depth and having really long videos, but I want to have some videos where I just quickly go over things that you need to know without spending too much time on it. I'm trying to do that. So this video should be more than like 15 minutes. And so this is Taming Gaming. You can use that. I think I put that in the chat. Absolutely. Okay. If you are concerned about your kids being online or who they're talking to, or you know that they're talking to someone and you really want to have those conversations, but you don't want your child to shut down and you want to talk to someone who has experience in this area, who's talked to thousands of parents about this, then feel free to look at the Protect Kids Online membership. That is where I use my background in cybersecurity, threat intelligence, and online gaming to help you protect your kids online. I have some pointed sessions for you. We have a Roblox safety session coming up with people who actually know Roblox in and out. We have a Snapchat safety session with the official Snapchat team at Snap Inc. We have a lot of different amazing opportunities for you to connect with me, Q&A calls. Once you join in, you get a one-on-one call with me to assess any needs that you have or any of the worries that are top of mind for you. We have a mom support group calls, which talks about different topics. Like I said, we have a Roblox call, a Snapchat safety call. We're going to have a social media safety and gaming safety call in October. And we have a community connection call where you can connect with other members who are a part of the Protect Kids Online membership. And so I also do up-to-date safety tips and alerts that you need to know as a parent as things come through and the pipeline. This gives you more information about the mom support group and what you get when you join in. So we have virtual sessions, we have quarterly challenges. We have the free social media safety challenge is in its name free, but that's an example of what will be a part of the Protect Kids Online membership. We will have one about gaming safety soon and device safety, like what to do if you get your kid an iPad or a phone or something like that. And then in the future, we'll be starting a book club around internet safety and digital well-being. You can look at some testimonials from parents who worked with me before, and then some information about who I am and who I've worked with. And it's just $27 a month. So you can join, you can leave at any time. There's no hard feelings. It's very easy to join and it is very easy to leave whenever you want, however you want. I'm so happy if you decide to join us. I would love to set up a call with you, especially if your kids are gaming and you would like some personalized assistance and support on figuring out how do I protect my kids online. If you want to have a free option of protecting your kids online, I highly suggest that you sign up for the free social media safety challenge. The challenge like the live version ended last week, which was like September 20 something. Yeah, I think that was, I can't remember, but yeah, the challenge ended last week. However, you can join the challenge at like any time. The information is still relevant. There are 4 guides, well, actually 5, but 4 guides in the challenge. And on each of the guides that I have, I broke down every single step of the guide. So I highly recommend not only do you join the challenge, but you join the Protect Kids Online membership, because that's the best way that I can assist you with protecting your kids on games. If you have any questions for me, any comments or thoughts, mostly questions or comments, you can have your thoughts too, I don't mind, so long as they're on topic. Let me know in the comments below and I will be answering them as soon as possible. And thanks again for being here. I appreciate you. Until next time, bye.